All right. Welcome back to the Talk of Louisville. I'm Mike Mulroney.
I'm Kellye Duckworth.
Kellye, how was your weekend?
It was
Got to start
good.
there,
It was good. Saturday got a lot done outside because it was beautiful.
Wasn't there a stupid football game or something going on, or Friday?
That was Friday night.
Oh, U of L. I'm sorry. U of L game.
Doesn't matter, we lost, but it was still fun. That made my weekend seem really long.
Yeah, for sure.
But yesterday was a lazy day. So
what happens when you have to nurse a hangover for 2 days in a row?
Oh man, I know. I'm almost 30. It's rough.
I don't want to hear it. 30. Good Lord. I'm close to 60. All right. Welcome, Miss Erin. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me today.
For those you don't know, Erin Troklus. Should we call you an author? Are you an author now? Is that what we're doing?
I'm on the way. I'm on the way to do that.
So we wanted to talk today about what happened with your husband, Sean. He had a stroke.
Yes.
And did y'all ever figure out how or what caused it?
So it was after he was in the hospital for a few days and they ruled out everything. They did all the different tests, CTs, MRIs, angiograms, and finally came back saying that it was hypertension, undiagnosed hypertension. So that's high blood pressure. When he went into the ER, his blood pressure was 280 over 170.
Oh my God.
Which I didn't even know a blood pressure could get that high.
Did he feel bad? I mean, I know he's sitting here, but did he feel bad? I can't even imagine being that high. Was he about to pass out? I can't imagine.
I mean, I know he had complained of headaches for about a year, which now we know that was probably a sign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sean was not the best, along with most men, of going to the doctor.
You're right. We're hard-headed and stubborn.
We're very hard-headed and stubborn, and Sean was no exception.
We like to sit around and milk a cold.
I know. Yeah. Anything serious they just don't care about, but a common cold or, they're down on the couch and crying for.
Well, I'll say it out loud. I know there's a reason why they allow the women are the ones that give birth, not.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
So he was having headaches.
Yep.
Feeling kind of weird, and obviously didn't. And so men listening, he didn't go to the doctor.
Nope.
So that may have, I don't know. You just never know.
Oh, and he's 44 years old. So.
Okay.
In good health otherwise. Active, was constantly on the go, never slowed down, never stopped. And so there were no other signs because he's, in general, a healthy person.
But it's one of those that you probably just write off, think I'm just tired. I need a little more sleep. That's the reason I feel bad.
Yeah. And that's what he'd do. When he'd start feeling bad, he'd go, I'm going to go take a nap or I'm going to sleep a little extra. But that was... but when he started complaining about the headaches, I go, hey, here's an idea. Here's a thought. Why don't you go get that checked out? And then it was, it's just allergies. It's just sinuses. And it would be kind of tossed to the side.
So he didn't did do the annual exams once a year and all that stuff that we're supposed to do.
Any family history of high blood pressure or anything like that?
I mean, somewhat. Like everybody, every older person almost has some type of blood pressure issue and stuff like that, but nothing crazy or to this extent or anything like that. And even strokes, there's not his grandmother has had some strokes, but again, she's 95.
Right.
So, and still.
Yeah. Anytime I go to the doctor, they'll say, and I brought this up comically, do you have a history do you have a family history of high blood pressure? I said, yeah, but they're all overweight,
Yeah.
They all eat
smoke
fried stuff all the time, or they smoke. So do you count that as family history? I don't know.
Right.
Is his parents or family fairly healthy? I guess?
Yes. His mom and dad
obviously
are still
didn't run a family.
Very healthy. Yeah. So, it was a shock. And even when he was in the hospital, there was, you talk about a bunch of guys that have come in and they're looking at Sean and kind of like, of all my friends,
I need to get my shit
together. He would have been the last person that I would have thought would have had a stroke, so because it wasn't, there's different types of strokes, and he had a hemorrhagic stroke. So it was a blood that had pulled up on the left side of his brain, which then affects the right side of his body. So he had no movement. He's slowly getting the movement back, but it affects his speech and communication. So it wasn't kind of, you have the strokes that takes a couple weeks and you bounce back a little bit better. This is not one of those. So
where were you at? Did you notice one side of his face was starting to droop and you're like, what's going on?
It was like the checklist of the signs for a stroke was he could check every single one of them off. I came home from work. I actually got home a little early. I had texted him on my way home like I usually do, say, I'm heading home. I got a thumbs up from him. He replied. I was home 18 minutes later, and when I walked in the door, he was kind of sluggishly walking through our bedroom. And I thought he was playing a joke on me at first. And so I was like, what are you doing? And then he went to try and lift his head up, and
oh my gosh,
it was the droopiness, the weakness in the arm. Then, of course, I started asking him questions, and it was very slurred speech. And that's what I was like, okay, he's checking off. And I was like, oh my gosh, did this just start? And it was just kind of mumbling that came out afterwards. And so then I immediately called 911.
So the EMS came and helped get him to the hospital?
A little longer than what I wish it would have taken.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
How long ago was this?
January 24th of this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was about a year ago because y'all been...
We haven't quite hit
getting
the year
close.
yet.
Yeah, because I remember when it happened, and obviously you remember it better than me. But so you got him to the hospital. They immediately started working on him, and they obviously identified that they thought that's what was going on.
Yeah, they got him into the hospital. EMS came, took him. We had to drive behind him. But by the time we actually beat him to the hospital, and then we hear, the code stroke over the intercom, that it's kind of like, okay, well, that's definitely, even though I was about 99% sure.
Right.
So they got him there, and he got worse.
They got him there, and they actually had to put him in a medical induced coma.
I was going to say, how do they treat that?
Because the blood pressure was so high, they had to get it under control, or it was not going to be. I wasn't going to be here talking about it.
I was going to say his organs probably would have exploded at that point.
Yeah. So they put him in a medically induced coma, and he was like that for a couple of days. So it's very scary. It was very scary. But then he was transferred to downtown U of L.
How did they do? Good? Bad?
They were fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You never want to hear, you never want to be the one to go to U of L hospital as a patient, and you don't want anybody that you love to go to U of L hospital as a patient, because they're known as the trauma hospital. That's where your really bad cases go. Yeah. And so I wasn't warm and fuzzy about that, but I also knew that that's probably where he was going to get the best care.
I've heard, you can have your thoughts on them, but I've always heard if you have a major emergency, that's where you want to be in the city of Louisville's University Hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, hats off to them.
They were fantastic. The doctors, the nursing staff, the therapists, I just can't sing their praises enough. They were just wonderful. Yeah. They were wonderful.
How long y'all been married?
22 years.
22.
We just celebrated a couple weeks ago.
Y'all look, I know about how y'all look so much younger than I am, so I can't imagine 22 years. Yeah, that's funny. So this has completely changed your life.
It has.
So your entire life evolves around everything, and that's fine. It seems to be going well. So you became the primary caregiver.
Yeah.
How's that been?
It's had its challenges. Luckily, we have a very good village and tribe, whatever. We've got it all. We've got friends, family. Luckily, since his parents are still, in good health, they've been a tremendous help, and my mom. And so, we've had a good core group, but they all go home at night.
Right.
So, but I think we've figured it out. We've kind of got our groove going, and he's gaining his strength back. So that's definitely helpful. So at the beginning, it was he needed a lot of assistance because he had no movement. So it was, he needed full to assisted to move from the couch to the chair to the wheelchair to the bed, and that was a lot. But now he is, he's gained some strength back, and he can kind of put weight, so it makes it much easier.
Do you all have kids?
We have 2 boys. Yeah, we've got Landon. He is a junior at EKU, and then we have a sophomore, Austin, who's at Bullitt East.
Wow. So they were, I guess, right in the thick of it too.
Austin was at home. He is your very typical 15, 16-year-old boy that comes home, says hi, gets something to eat,
goes to his room,
shut the door, put the headphones on, the gaming system. And then Landon was at school. Actually, he was on a trip to Gatlinburg for his fraternity formal. So that wasn't a fun call to have to call him.
Yeah, I bet. I went to EKU. Been to Gatlinburg for those.
Oh, really?
It's funny.
So, But yeah, Austin ended up kind of being the one that he went down to the end of the driveway and waved the ambulance in, and because I didn't want to leave him.
Right.
I mean, there's no way I was leaving him. I just wanted to stay there. So
that's good, because that does test a marriage. We were talking about that before, and I've talked to you for 30 minutes, and I'm sure Sean probably agrees. He's lucky that he has you in his corner. That's amazing. I mean, because there's so many people that would have just walked away, you know.
He's going to make me cry.
I think we're all going to be sitting here crying.
A lot of this stuff is the first time he's heard of a lot of this.
Yeah.
So, you know, we tell him it wasn't good. You know, it wasn't a good situation. But
yeah, but he's so lucky. I mean, seriously.
You know,
and then to have the family support.
Yeah.
You know how many people we deal with on the cancer side that have nobody in their corner? They don't even have anybody to take them to the doctor.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't have been able to make it a lot of days without.
Well, because he was working, I'm assuming, before.
Yes.
Can't work now.
Correct.
Or doing limited, I'm assuming. So then that burden's also on you now, right? I guess.
Yes. We're hoping. He's hoping to start driving again soon.
I think he will.
We're in the process.
I really do.
I mean, he looks great. That's what I thought it might have been years.
Handsome, right?
I wouldn't say that. He's got the Troklus look.
But like trying to go back to work, you know, because you still had to work, I guess. So trying to go back to that, and then like who's going to help take care of him?
Yep.
You know, like that's got to be hard.
So we luckily, kind of some of it was by the grace of God, and some of it was happenstance, and some of it was researching. But we got in with a really cool thing called the ABI waiver, which is an acquired brain injury waiver program. And they provide like companion services. So when I go to work, he has a guy that he really just comes and hangs
sits
out
with him. Yeah.
Doesn't have to do, you know, but then he's trying to go down steps and he's going down into the basement. So it's nice to have someone there that can just make sure, you know, because then I would be worried to death being at work.
Right.
But they provided a lot of extra stuff that we would not be able to get. Now that was a journey to get that, but
it's called ABI. Is that a nonprofit?
It's called ABI. No, it's through the Kentucky Medicaid. So it's funded by Kentucky Medicaid, which is the Medicaid process I had to go through, which was.
I was going to say, so you
not
knew
a good time.
you're not a medical person. You come across. I told you this. You come across as a nurse.
Yeah.
You seem like a very nurturing person. You know. So
Thank you.
how do you? I then forgot what I was going to say, but you had to research all that. You had no clue about any of this.
No.
So how much, I think that would probably be more of a headache than working with Sean and making sure he's okay. I mean, trying to figure out the system.
With Sean is, you know, like he had therapists. I mean, his job full time was going to therapy. It was, I mean, initially for 3 months, he went to, it was an all day program at Fraser. And it was literally like taking your kid almost and dropping them off to day camp. He packed a lunch. You're not my kid, but lunch, you know, but it was 9 to 4 and it was solid treatment.
It's a long time.
Therapies. And so that was his job. I mean,
right.
To say, did he have a job?
Sure.
No, but
yeah, your job's to get better.
His job is to get better.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got a crazy question. You probably don't know this, but how many phone calls have you made since this happened to try and fight and get benefits and get the help that you need? Do you have any clue? Probably 10,000 phone calls this year.
I mean,
because if it's like anything else, if I just call about a prescription, they'll pass me around 4 times and tell me to call another number. I mean, I'm sure you probably dealt with that. How bad was that?
Bad.
Yeah.
I thought, you know, I found this wonderful lady though, that her name is Julie. And she helped me with the ABI waiver. So she then helped me with the disability side of things, filing for disability, and then the Medicaid. If it wasn't for her, I probably would have given up. And that is not my personality.
She work at U of L, or?
She is actually with an ABI. She's a case manager with the ABI program. But she does a lot of things out of the goodness of her heart because of how she knows how difficult it is. Yeah. Yes, she cares. And she knows how difficult the whole process is. And I just at one point was like, I really feel like Medicaid, they just want you to give up.
Yeah,
they
do.
Want you to give up because the hoops, and it's legal hoops, but it's all these hoops.
No, it's
and
BS hoops is what it is.
Well,
I think they probably put that stuff out there, like you said. Oh, eventually they'll give up and we won't have to pay anything.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if there's some truth to that. I really do.
Too.
Yeah, because they don't want to pay out. It costs a lot of money.
It does.
But it's a shame because it's something people need. There has to be an easier way to get through this stuff.
You would think so.
But you've decided, okay, I've got to put this in writing and let other people know what we went through and make it easier for them. Is that kind of your goal of writing a book?
Yes.
Did you reach out to a publisher? Did somebody hear the story?
I did. So a good friend of mine had just recently wrote a book herself, and I finished reading it, and I was on a walk, and I was just like, I could write a book about all this with all the stuff that's going on. And I'm like, then I could help other people, because there were a lot of, setbacks, and, it's a lot of trial and error. I'm going to try and call this person, and nope, this doesn't work. And so I'm like, if I can help somebody navigate this process, and you're also trying to take care of your loved one, and you're also worried about your loved one in the middle of having to still do all the business side of things.
Yeah.
That has to be done. And there were things that I wasted some time on that I thought it was the right route, and then it didn't turn out to be the right route. And so it was kind of time wasted and tears wasted. And so I kind of was like, I need to get all this down to hopefully help, because this isn't something that you necessarily have in your back pocket and you're prepared for. Oh, in case this happens to me. No, I don't know anybody.
I don't know anybody that thinks that way.
No, because you don't think it's going to happen to you. It happens to other people. It doesn't happen to you. So, I kind of started writing as like a healing technique. I was tired of crying. So it was kind of another way to express my emotions without always just, crying it all out. And then it was just kind of like, I should just put this in the book and let somebody, maybe let it help somebody else that might have to unfortunately go through something similar. So
this is going to be a guide, kind of. It's going to tell the story and kind of the guide of what you need to look for, what you should do, blah, blah, blah.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is very helpful for people.
So it's called Stroke Strong, and it's through the heart of a stroke survivor's wife. So I found when I was in the hospital and when he was in rehab, I felt so lost and overwhelmed. You feel very overwhelmed. And I tried to look up, find something that could help me. And there's nothing out there. There were books about being a caregiver. There were books about the stories from the actual stroke survivor, but there wasn't any books out there for someone who gets in this position where you don't really know where to go from here. And so I kind of wanted to give a background, tell my story of how I became a stroke survivor's wife, just to kind of let them know, I've been there. I know how it feels. I know all the emotions that you go through. I know everything that you're thinking. But then the second part of the book kind of goes into more of a guidebook. So it goes into Medicaid and disability and how to love yourself during all this. Because if I didn't make time for myself to do certain things, and it could be as simple as waking up 30 minutes early to have a cup of coffee. I mean, this doesn't have to be anything crazy, but just kind of that moment to reset. I really think that it helped give me more patience. I feel like I'm an overall patient person, but this type of thing definitely is a different kind of patience that you have to reach way deep down in your soul for. And I think kind of giving myself a little bit of that time helped to reset my patience so that when he woke up, he had all of me and all of my attention. I might start crying again.
Dude, you got an angel over here. I don't know how. I heard your pickup line at Have a Nice Day Cafe. So you scored, man. You scored.
Pickup line / dance moves.
There you go. I need to see the dance moves. That's the goal. We want to see the dance moves.
That's a Troklus thing. That's a Troklus thing too. All the Troklus men have got some good.
Well, they think they can dance. Yeah.
Yeah, they think so. They think so.
Yeah. So it's been a complete test of the marriage and everything, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's a test, but I think also just kind of like an emphasis on the value.
I was going to say, this is what marriage is, obviously this wasn't in the book, but that's what it is.
But I'm seeing you look at each other now. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
But it is a test of the vows.
It is. I mean, yeah. Well, and it's like, and don't take this insulting, but when you're talking, it's like taking moments for yourself. It almost sounds like, being a mom of young kids again, because that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, if I have 2 young kids and if I don't take those extra 30 minutes, but you've already raised your 2 kids,
Right.
for the most part, and then now having to kind of restart. But yeah, I mean, that's what marriage is supposed to be about, is being there for someone, when they can't be there for themselves.
Sickness and in health.
It is.
Did
Yeah.
y'all-
I mean,
did y'all do everything together before all this happened?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
No, really. I can tell by the way you two are looking at each other that this is, it's been painful, but it's probably been bonding for sure.
it really has.
Yeah.
It really has. And we had a stroke survivor come into the hospital, or come into Fraser to talk to Sean at one point, and I don't even know how much he remembers of the conversation, but he said, having this stroke was really, he said it was a good thing almost, which he was like, I know that sounds weird, and I know that, and I'm not going to sit here and say that it was a good thing, because ideally this isn't something that I wish
ever
upon
want
anybody, but I will say it has, I do think it's strengthened us, because we're having to lean on each other even more than than you would usually do, I guess, in a different way. It's just a different way of leaning on one another. He needs me and I need him.
But I mean, so many people could have just walked away. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens all the time. I know people, they get diagnosed with cancer and their significant other just leaves.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, so.
That Troklus smoothness, man.
I know.
Did they say that things are going to get, I mean, he's light years ahead of where he was when it first happened. Are they saying that there's going to be quite a bit more improvement, or they just don't know?
It's really hard. There's no definitive answer. And Sean's even asked me that before, like, am I where I'm supposed to be, kind of thing. And I was like, I really think after, going through stuff and talking to doctors, and I've just come to the conclusion that I think you're where you're going to be when you stop trying. Like they kind of give you this like, 1 year is your greatest time of recovery. But then, I'm a part of kind of some support groups through Facebook, and, they're like, don't let the doctors tell you anything. My husband's 5 months past and he just moved his hand for the first time, so like, I think as long as you don't give up and you keep fighting, I don't think the recovery's ever over with.
Well,
That's my own belief.
Well, I think it depends on the person, because I've watched the videos you post, and he is bound and determined to get up and walk, and he did.
Yeah.
I could tell that he was wanting to walk so bad. And obviously you were there. We were just watching the videos you were posting, and to see the determination to finally get off the couch and do something, he's got that in him. It's just other people don't.
Yeah.
It would be easy to give up and just say, I'm just going to stay in a recliner for the rest of my life. He's not that type of person.
Because you have to work. It's work. I mean, and it's hard work. And it's easy to get exhausted over things that it wouldn't, take us much to do. But it takes, and I recognize that. I know that it's not easy for him. And I think recognizing that too, because I find like when I hear other maybe wives talk, they might say, well, I just feel like he's lazy. And there might be some of that to it, but it's, there's more than that. It's a mental strength that you have to have too. Cause it's very easy to probably slip into, woe is me, I can't do anything else or kind of thing. But I think if you can have the mental strength, that's going to help you.
But you're his drill sergeant. I can see you saying, get up. You're not going to sit there, aren't you? I would say you keep the fire lit under him.
I try and let him rest, but then I'm like, okay, rest
time to get up. That's right.
Chop, chop. Let's go.
So how long did y'all spend in the hospital initially?
We were in the ICU for almost 2 weeks. And then we moved directly over to Fraser inpatient, and he was there for 3.5 weeks. Then we came home. We were there for about a week before he started that all-day program, and that was 3 days a week. So it was an intense.
How was your house? I mean, did you have steps to get into it?
Luckily, we have a ranch, so that's good. Okay. So the only steps we had was going down into the basement, and there was nothing that he had to have down there. But quickly, that was kind of one of the things, like I was trying to get everything prepared and purchase all the stuff that I needed. And I think within 2 minutes of him being in the door, I was like, well, we didn't think about the wheelchair having to go around this part. Luckily, the house was built that the wheelchair could go into, the door frames and stuff. So there was no major, yes, that would be his doing. He's taking credit for that one because we did build the house.
Was you subconsciously preparing for this one day?
It does make you wonder. But their living room looks very different than what it used to.
Sure.
But you know what? I've always been a very much of a planner and an organizer, and I think God has tested all of the weaknesses of my personality. So I have very much learned how to just be like, okay, well, this doesn't work. Let's just move it. I've learned to and I fought it, I think, for a little bit, but then I was just like, why fight it? There's too much other stuff going on. So I might as well and he's been very, like, hey, whatever, what's, kind of thing. So I think you just kind of have to.
You have to roll with the flow.
Yes. Go with
Figure
the flow.
out, yeah. Pick your battles.
All the things. Pick your battles. Yeah. And I just think if you can just have a lot of patience and give a lot of grace.
Yeah, you wake up in the morning with a plan and be prepared to adjust the plan as the day goes on.
Yes, and an old pre-stroke Erin did not function that way.
Yeah, I could tell.
Pre-stroke Erin was.
You're like my wife. Yes. She keeps us on track.
I'm talking about myself in the third person. No, but now I'm very much like, okay, let's just. Because you have days where you're like, if we can get up and just survive the day, it's a win.
It's a win.
I mean, there are days, especially early on, where if I can just get up and then make it to go to bed at night, I'm going to just say that this has been a good day. It's been a win. So
have you said there's support groups in Louisville. Have they been pretty helpful as far as leaning on others and hearing their stories?
Like as far as the other like organizations and stuff like that. Yeah, I've kind of made some connections with the Kentuckiana Stroke Association. They do a lot of wonderful things in the community and stuff too. And so I've kind of tried to do some networking with them, and I really, just want to be out, just help others that have to go through something like this. But there are a lot of great people but it's finding them. That was the other thing. It's finding.
It shouldn't be that difficult.
It shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. But sometimes you just gotta. Well, and you're also exhausted.
Right. That's true.
And find the things, but it's like if I can just have like a little list. Like here's people that you can reach out to. That
is that in your book as well?
That's in there as well.
That's awesome.
I literally cover just about everything.
And it's published. It's out there now, ready to buy.
The proposal published date is in March.
Okay.
So it has been turned over to an editor and a publisher. And so I'm working with her now on a weekly basis. We have meetings to just but it's all written. I'm just now, it's like fine
tweaking it. Yeah.
Making the little tweaks, putting the commas and the periods in there.
You sound like Mike. Like you don't have enough going on as it is. So let's write a book. And
really and I have people that are like, how in the world are you writing a book in the middle of this? But
it was healing for you.
It was healing. I mean, it really was. So it didn't feel like it. And I know my editor was even like, usually when I'm doing memoirs and stuff, these are people writing about things that happened to them 5, 10, 20 years ago. Right. I've never done one with someone who like wrote it in
present day, right?
Yes. Because I wanted to kind of chronicle that first year.
Yeah.
Because that's when so much stuff. There's so many moving parts.
You'll probably look back on it in a year and be like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
I probably will. Yeah. So it's going to be kind of a nice reminder for myself.
That's awesome.
Too. But yeah, I just I just wanted, like the caregiver books that I said you can only find, that's just one chapter in mine, like, because that's important and I don't want to like dismiss it. But there's so much other stuff to the big picture of, when something like this.
Well, next you'll have to make it an audio book so that Mike can listen to it.
Mike,
That's
we
what
were
you're
talking
talking
about that. And
Yeah.
actually,
He's not a reader, but he'll listen.
And believe it or not, I'm not a reader, which was really.
I like to read, but I fall asleep if I sit that long.
And he has to reread the same thing.
Too. And even my son, the 16-year-old, almost 16-year-old, he said too, Mom, are you going to put this on audio? Because he doesn't read either. But yeah, I would like to eventually. Hopefully that will be probably summertime when that would come out. Because, I'm even thinking if the spouse is in the hospital and, they're in the ICU room or something and all the lights have to go off at a certain time, there's a lot more restrictions when you're in an ICU. And if you can just put your earbuds in and maybe listen to another woman who has been sitting in that same ICU chair, there's a level of, I don't know, comfort about that I would have loved to have when I was in that position. So
I feel like too, especially your all's age. I mean, I'm sure none of your girlfriends or, had ever went through anything like that. So having somebody to fall back on or learn from.
So some of the things in the book, I'm sitting here looking at this. It's what the first 24 hours of medical emergency felt like for families. That's going to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't even imagine. I'm sure you were all over the place when you were trying to get him to the hospital, figure out what was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Well, do you remember how long it took? You said the ambulance took way too long.
4 minutes.
That's a long time. Do you guys live in Louisville? I mean, are you
in Bullitt County?
Okay.
24 minutes. Entirely too long.
So you had 24 minutes?
In fact, I called 911 back again.
That's a long time.
So what did you do for 24 minutes? Did you sit there and
I prayed and I panicked.
Was you trying CPR or anything, thinking maybe that would work?
I was slapping him in the face a lot.
Yeah.
But,
trying to get him to wake. Yeah.
I wanted to do it anyway.
There you go. She's caught up a little bit now.
So I got all the opportunity to smack him in the face a few times because I literally, it was kind of like I was watching him like
fade away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I knew, well, in my mind, I just kept thinking, if he completely closes his eyes, he's going to be gone.
Keep him awake.
Yeah,
for sure.
Things. And so I was smacking him pretty good, and I would just scream his name, and then I would go. And luckily, Sean's best friend, Rick McGuire, he's a nurse, and he's been a nurse in the ER for a decade, and I called him whenever in between because I just was like, I've got to call somebody. So he kind of was talking to me and got him on FaceTime because he wanted to see him. And so I was kind of going back and forth talking to him, and I got Sean down on the ground and then was just kind of just yelling at him.
Yeah, I was wondering if you called anybody you knew that. So you did that. And then that had to be the longest 24 minutes of your life.
Yeah, it felt like 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a very long time. And then it's like when they showed up, it was just like one person after another. And then I just kind of like backed away and let them do their thing. And it was just like mass chaos, but
organized chaos.
Yeah. And so like there's stickers flying everywhere and blood pressure cuffs going on and all that kind of stuff. And so I just kind of, went in the other room and just was trying to
keep it together.
Yeah. Trying to collect myself.
Yeah. Because you had no clue. I mean, obviously you probably thought it was a stroke, but you really wasn't 100% sure.
That's what I said because of the, he pretty much fit
telltale signs.
All the, everything.
So what's one tip if somebody wants to read the book? What's one thing that you can tell them to look for that might change their life if they're in this situation?
One thing. I don't know about one thing, but I definitely think it would be to let them know they're not alone.
Yeah.
And there's other people that have gone through this and, know what they're feeling and all the thoughts that go through your head, all the emotions and the thoughts and the what ifs that just take over your
over your mind,
your whole mind and body and everything. Yeah. And then, I'd say just they're not alone.
Of course, once they got him in the EMS, it was another 25-minute ride probably from where you lived to the hospital, wasn't it?
Yes. So he was only because we went to Medical Center South in Bullitt County.
Oh, okay.
And he was there for, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then transferred him to downtown. So he was in the ER there for a few hours before they got him to a room.
That's
so
incredible.
It was a lot of waiting and anticipating and figuring out what's going on, and then family coming in and making the phone calls, and that wasn't.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I called his mom, and I ended up calling Landon, my son. And I didn't at first. I didn't call him until we were on our way downtown.
Yeah.
And he was coming in that night. So I let Ricky make all the other calls because I just couldn't. I couldn't do it.
You make your phone call and say, "Get it out there."
Yeah. Which is pretty much.
Well, Troke Strong. When did you say it's coming out?
In March of 2026.
March when?
So I don't know. I don't have exact. Let's just say March 31st. How about that? And then when it comes out earlier, I will. I am going to do an advanced readers copy, and I'm going to try and get about 50 people to read it ahead of time before it goes out. So that will be like in February. But I'm going to try and keep everything up to date on. I've just created some social media pages, so I've got the Stroke Strong book on Instagram and on Facebook. So I'm going to try and kind of like post updates as far as, if there's any more tweaks to the cover and, when it is going to come out, and maybe some things that they can look forward to seeing that will be in the book and stuff that can.
Well, when you do all that, tag me in it, tag Kellye, or shoot me a text, and we'll help get the word out. And we're going to help sponsor it so we can get one of the first copies.
Absolutely. A signed one, right?
Okay, that's right. And I want it signed by Sean.
Sean can sign it. It's not pretty. It may not be that.
That's okay. That's the signature. That's the one I want.
Oh, man.
There you go.
It's going to be a left-handed signature. But.
Well, we enjoy talking to you.
Yes, thank you so much for letting me come
You're
on.
an angel. He's so lucky to have you in this corner, and I'm sure he agrees.
Thank you.
Because so many people would have got up and walked out. That's pretty incredible. So
no, you got to stick with it.
There you go.
Stick with it.
Thanks for coming in, Erin. We'll get the word out. Help once it comes out. Shoot us the date, and we'll see what we can do.
I will do that.
All right. Thanks so much.
See you all.